What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to call my shot. I'm going to say Justin Herbert is going to win the MVP this year. And yes, that is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. But when you look at the circumstances, his situation, the new offensive coordinator, there's a lot of good things going in. Man's just got paid big money, biggest money for a quarterback ever. And I think this is going to be his year to take the MVP. Let me know in the comments who you think will win MVP. Do you think Herbert will win it? If you're a Herbert fan like myself, or you just like watching the guy's game, let me know what you think his stat line is going to be in the comments. But I'm going to break down why I think Herbert's going to win MVP this year. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But I got three main reasons that Justin Herbert is about to take this MVP by the horns and run away with it this year. So those three reasons. The first one, new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. The second one, they added more weaponry to his offense. And the third one is just overall health amongst the team and himself. Okay, so we'll start with the new OC. That's the first reason, because I think that's going to be the biggest reason to really unlocking how great he can be. Now, Chargers fans, we went through a lot at the end of last year. And if you watched any moments of Chargers games last year, any portions, you know the offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was a terrorist out there. That it was horrible with him play calling. The fact that they won as many games as they did with the injuries and stuff like that, with Herbert being hurt, that guy, they could have been even better with it, but that guy was atrocious. So they got Kellen Moore in there now, and Kellen Moore has been successful, every season that he's been an offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. I think he was there for 4 years, and the offense for them was awesome pretty much all 4 years. You can maybe not look too hard into the Dak injury year, because when you lose your quarterback, it's just usually not good for any team. But in the 4 years that Kellen Moore was OC for the Dallas Cowboys, the offense was crazy. Look at their stats that they had. They were the number 4 best passing offense at 264.4 yards per game. They had the number 2. They were the number 2 ranked total offense for total yards at 391 yards per game, and number 2 in points per game at 27.7 points per game. So they were putting up points, they were slinging the rock, and then running the ball as well. They were number 7 over those 4 years at 126.6 yards per game. And if you've watched Chargers games for the last couple of years, the running game has basically been non-existent. Yes, Austin Eckler had 20 touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine. But outside of that, they were terrible running the ball. And I think a lot of that has to go to scheme. And the offense last year, if you watched it, yes, we did have some injuries at wide receiver, but the play calling, it was literally quick screen, run the ball for 2 yards, and then stick. So they would run stick every third down. If you don't know what stick is, it's basically just a bunch of hitch routes, a bunch of 3 to 4 yard routes. Everybody's cramped together. It's super easy to defend in most cases, especially when you know it's coming, which a lot of defenses did. So that's all gone. Throw that away. Done. We're never seeing that ever again. Kellen Moore is going to be a guy he's going to be calling plays that he's going to want to take shots. He's going to want to make big plays. He's going to want to get in chunks, and he's going to want to be creative too. He's going to want to get guys out in space. He's going to want to create opportunities for guys, and the Chargers just really did not have that last year. And we've seen Kellen Moore produce a top offense with less than ideal firepower last year. The Cowboys, Cowboys have had good players, right? They really have. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. They had decent running game with Zeke, and then Tony Pollard kind of came on last year. And then the receivers, it was kind of like Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, but last year it was really just CeeDee. Michael Gallup, kind of, he's kind of coming back from that. I think it was the ACL injury that he had. And then the tight ends, Kellen Moore likes to use his tight ends. He got Dalton Schultz paid in Houston. They have Ferguson out there. Like, the Cowboys got some good production out of their tight ends. And I think if you look at the weaponry that the Chargers have compared to what the Cowboys have, it's not, I don't want to say it's night and day, but I think the Chargers the talent is better. And that's not to knock those guys, because like I said, I think Cowboys had some good players, but I think the Chargers have a few more good players, and they got a lot of explosiveness they can utilize finally. Talk about explosiveness. We can start with the first round pick of wide receiver Quentin Johnston Quentin Johnston, I should say, out of TCU. Really, really electric in space with the ball, makes plays after the catch. That was something that they really, really needed. I think that's going to be awesome. They also drafted Quentin's teammate out of TCU in the 4th round, Darius Davis, super speedster, probably going to play a lot of punt returner, kick returner kind of stuff. But I could see them utilizing him in some sweeps, kind of some screens, kind of just getting a little flashy with him. But then, so you added that, right? And then you have the second round, or the second year first round pick from last year, Zion Johnson, who was pretty solid as a rookie. So they got a lot of youth on the team. The offensive line is got a lot of continuity. You're getting Rashawn Slater back. You can put Jamari Salyer, who played very, very well at left tackle in Slater's absence for basically all of last season. So you got Slater at left tackle, Salyer at left guard. Corey Lindsey is one of the best centers in the game at center. Zion going into year 2 at right guard. And then you kept Trey Pipkins, who's a pretty solid right tackle. So they got a really, really solidified O-line, health permitting. But where this offense gets a lot of fun now with drafting Quentin, and I know I just did a tangent with the O-line, but you got to give those guys some credit and kind of give those guys some love. But the wide receiving core on the Chargers has a chance to be the best in the NFL. They have a chance to do that. You have Keenan Allen, who is just a consistent 1,000 yards, consistent third down receiver, catches, doesn't drop the ball. You know what Keenan Allen is. You know what you're going to get. You got big play Mike Williams. He's going to go out there and make big chunk plays, as I just mentioned. Big body, touchdown magnet. We know what to expect, right? And then you have the rookie Quentin Johnson, who I already mentioned. Don't need to say much more about him. And then you have Josh Palmer as your wide receiver 4. Josh Palmer on a lot of teams is a wide receiver 2. On a lot of teams. He was the wide receiver 1 in some spot moments last year because of the injuries. But I think having him at 4, you got 4 really, really good receivers. Which is so, if Keenan goes down, we still got 3, right? If Mike Dubb goes down and Keenan goes down again, we end up in that same situation as last year, which I highly doubt and highly hope does not happen. You still have Quentin and you still have Palmer, right? So you kind of built some depth in that receiving core, and you gave your MVP level quarterback toys. You gave him weapons to play with. And as I mentioned earlier in the video about Kellen Moore, likes to use his tight ends. I think you can expect a lot from Gerald Everett and Donald Parham Jr. I think those two guys could have really, really solid years. Could be even more explosive than they were last year. Donald Parham missed a lot of last season, but Everett was really good. I think you could expect more from those guys. We did mention that under Kellen Moore, the Cowboys' rushing offense was number 7 for 4 years over that time span. And the Chargers, you got touchdown magnet and Austin Eckler. Yes, he's been grumpy about his contract, but running backs, you guys just don't get paid. The league has just learned not to pay you guys. And because most times when running backs get paid, it doesn't turn out very well for the team that pays them. So you have Eckler, right? Which we know he can get the ball into the end zone. But then you have Josh Kelly behind him, Isaiah Spiller. I think Josh Kelly was really, really good before his MCL injury last year. I expect Kellen Moore to get more out of the running game than Joe Lombardi ever could. So that's why I'm super optimistic in the offense and Herbert, because the weaponry and having somebody that kind of can put the pieces in the right spots and make things happen and allow Justin to just be Justin and not be, oh my God, I got to throw stick every third down and we're going to take some shots. You're going to let me kind of roll out. You're going to put me in situations where the game is the most fun. I think you're going to get a crazy season out of Justin Herbert with that. And yes, I broke down the Chargers' whole offense, but you're not going to win MVP unless the offense is really good. It's that simple. But I did mention the third main reason, and this goes for pretty much any successful team, it's health, right? If the Chargers have the same injury luck that they did last year, where they were basically missing 6 or 7 Pro Bowlers within the first month of the season, if that happens again, then I think we're just doomed as a franchise. But I don't think that's going to happen again, right? I think you're not going to see as many crazy injuries that they deal with. I think because the offense will be flowing a little bit better. Things should just go a lot better for them. So hopefully the health is there, right? And the biggest reason, other than Kellen Moore and the offense getting some more firepower for why I think Herbert can win MVP, is the dude doesn't have broken ribs right now, right? Let's hope it doesn't happen again, of course. But he had broken ribs from week 2 on last year. He basically played 16, 17 games with cracked ribs. And if you played quarterback before at a high level, or if you know people that have, takes a lot out of your core when you're turning and letting that ball loose, right? He had to protect himself more than he normally would, right? So him being healthy alone is gonna just catapult his numbers. Because yes, he had kind of a down year last year, which a down year for him was 4,700 yards and 25 touchdowns, right? But I think this year we could see a 5,100 yard, 40 touchdown season out of him. He's had 38 touchdowns a couple years ago. I think you can easily get back to that, health permitting. You'll probably see 10 to 12 interceptions. That's kind of the line that he's kind of floated along in his career thus far. But I also think you might see maybe a couple more picks because they are taking more chances, which you can live with that. think the completion percentage for him probably is going to sit around 68 to 70, kind of as it has his whole career. But I think you're going to see a lot more explosive plays, a lot more high poweredness, and I think the third quarter offense will not be absolutely dog water like it was last year. They were terrible, which, I'm giving Kellen Moore a lot of credit here, but he did a great job in Dallas with less, in my opinion. And I think he has more now, so I expect him to do a great job, and I think that's going to propel Herbert over the top. I think the shackles, the chains are finally off this dude, and we really haven't seen him in an offense where he was allowed to just be Justin Herbert. And that's crazy because he's been amazing for 3 years. Now, I do think there's other guys that'll be in this MVP conversation. There's definitely like Joe Burrow, so hopefully his calf strain isn't too bad. Jalen Hurts could be in there. We all know Patty Mahomes. That's the guy's in the argument every single year. He's going to be that way. There's maybe Aaron Rodgers on a comeback, Lamar Jackson on a comeback. A lot of dudes that could be in this conversation. I'm going to roll with Herbert. Yes, that is my guy, so I am being a little bit of a homer, which I admit to that. But, it's not to put those other guys down because I think that there's going to be a very fun race to the MVP this year, but I think Herbert's going to be in a great situation to finally take his first one home. So do you think Justin Herbert will win MVP? If you don't, who do you have as your MVP pick? It's always fun to hear what everybody's thinking, how they're picking guys going into the year, because I think there's definitely going to be some back and forth on this. Regardless, though, predict Justin Herbert's stat line in the comments. I'm very curious as to what people are going to think he's going to do this year. New offense, more firepower, hopefully not broken ribs, and I hope that he has a great year, obviously. But I think he's going to explode. So I'm ready for year 4 Justin Herbert. The man's paid. Can't wait to watch. I'm done. Peace.